Hello, everyone. Welcome to Connecting Worcester Style, and I'm your host, Lisa Casillo, on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. And I have Ashley Johnson here from Exquisite Salon with me today, or Salon Exquisite. I always say it the opposite because
I thought about that for a while.
Did you?
The picking a name was one of the hardest things, I think.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I could imagine that. Yeah.
So, but yes, Salon Exquisite.
Yes. So it's always nice having you on.
Thank you. It's always nice to be here. It's been a little bit.
It has. This is the first time that we're back in the station for a while. Yeah. I mean, guests are still remote, but we're in the station, it's so much easier for me to be in the station because I need the energy. I need the person, and I need to be able to see Manny, and it makes it a lot harder when and in the very, very beginning, I had a really difficult time interviewing people because I couldn't feel their energy over the screen. Over the last year, it's kind of gotten a little bit better.
Right.
But I am ready to go.
I'm used to the Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't really love the Zoom either. It's harder to be yourself, I think. I'm the same way with videos. Videos are so popular right now for marketing and, all of the different things that they do. And I'm not great at the video.
No, I love though when someone does a video.
I know.
Yeah, I really do. But I'm also one of those people that when someone sends out a Christmas card and they do like what they've done for the last year, I love that.
Yeah,
I really do. And I also love when people send Christmas cards that are their pictures of their family. I love that.
Those. I do love those. I hang them all up on my.
I keep them every year so I can see how they've changed over the years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's always interesting. But I still have cards from when I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, like old boyfriend.
Like keep things.
I do.
It's funny you said. I was thinking that on the way here. I'm not a keepsake person.
I keep certain things.
I don't keep a lot. I was thinking actually about the zoos because of the guest today, and I was thinking, like I had said to you, I've been to 10.
Yeah,
I don't
all over the world.
Yeah, and I don't have I didn't keep like the tickets or the no. My memories.
And for me, it's pictures. So if I travel, I take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I do now that it's like on the phone.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Yeah, that's true. But I will say a friend of mine, Mike Nix, made fun of me because this was a couple of years ago. We were all out and I had a camera instead of my phone. And he's like, well, you have a camera on your phone. He's making fun of me. And I said, for those of us who print out our pictures, it is better to have a camera than it is to have a phone with a camera, because unless you're a camera person, you don't realize that the resolution is still better on a camera than it is on your phone.
Yeah. I think I always had like cheaper cameras, so, and then now with the new phones, they're so beautiful. The pictures. I printed a few from my Europe trip.
Did you?
Yeah. But, once they came out with the three camera, lens thing.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't think I'm up to that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your next one.
I try to wait until like my phone barely is moving.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yep.
So I'll buy like my iPhone and I'll buy it with the most memory you can possibly get, which is not easy to find, by the way.
Really?
Yes. Because there are people like usually go for the first or second storage. And I go for like the last one. So there's not as many on the market. To find them. But I'm like, because I want to keep this phone for at least 4 or 5 years if I possibly can. Because I get comfortable with its size.
I'm a deleter though. I'm like a deleter. Like if I don't use an app, I get rid of it. Pictures if I don't. Yeah. Or I'll move them onto a USB drive.
Yeah, I'm pretty good about that too. Yeah. So
my phones don't last that long because I drop them.
Do you?
A lot. Yeah. So I feel like in like 2 years, mine won't charge anymore.
You beat it to death. It's dying. Yes. So I know the last time we were together, we had talked about my dog Kai, who was sick. Yes. So she did pass away this past weekend.
Oh.
very unexpectedly.
And you just had the other one last year.
Yes. And then Rain had died the year before unexpectedly. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just don't, you think that they're going to get like a person, they're going to get sick and be back and forth to the vet. With animals, I'm finding that really isn't the case usually.
Right.
Something happens. So the vet, which we're going to have the traveling vet come on, because it was such a she was just so wonderful and helped me through it because I wasn't ready for it. Right. Because my vet said Kai is very healthy. She's not going to die of a heart attack. You're going to have to make the decision to put her down when her myopathy gets too bad. That's not what happened.
Wow.
It seemed like ended up having a blood clot that broke free, and that's what took her. Yeah.
Oh, and so it was just so quick.
She died within like 20, 30 minutes of I noticed something wasn't right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
so it was
terrible.
So that's why I want to have the traveling vet on, and I'd like to have the company on that because I had her cremated. Mm-hmm. Who did that. That was because people don't know. What do you do? I had no idea. What do you do?
Yeah.
So if I can help people through that, I'd love to do that.
That would be great. Yeah, because you don't know who to call.
No. Yeah. It just happened to be that 2 weeks prior, I was talking to a client, and their dog had died over the summer, and she told me that they had found this vet that comes to your house and will put your animal down. And I was like, oh, can you give me the information? Because actually not even thinking about my own dog. Right. I'm thinking I'm going to bring my dog to the vet. And because people have asked me before, what do you do if your dog gets sick or whatever? And when, 2 weeks later, I had to call the woman.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I called her saying that Kai was in distress. I think something's wrong. And I don't know. I thought her myopia got really bad. And then within 20 minutes, she was gone.
Oh, that must have been so hard.
I thought she was sleeping.
Yeah.
She looked like she was sleeping.
Oh, okay. So did you not even notice till the vet got there?
No. I noticed when I went back in the bedroom because I had gone out and called, video chatted with my grandkids. I was in the living room. Kai was in the bedroom with Paul. He was asleep. And when I left the bedroom, she had been panting and just kind of looked confused. Well, that's what she did last time, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
When I thought she was leaving me, and I'm like, okay, she's having a bad day. Right. Is what I thought. She's having a bad day because she's 14. So she had bad days every once in a while. And the panting, it wasn't unusual because Kai's an old English sheepdog. It has lots and lots of fur in the winter. And so she pants because she gets hot.
Right.
So I didn't think anything of it other than the fact that she couldn't look at me. She wasn't connecting with me.
Gotcha. Something wasn't right.
Something wasn't right. But that's happened before and it passed. So when I called the vet when I went back in there and I'm like, she's not asleep. She's not breathing.
No.
Yeah. And then Paul got up. He's like, no, she's sleeping. She's sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Paul, I think she's passed. So I called the lady back and left another message saying, I think she's passed. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So
the vet called me and talked me through it. And she was just so wonderful.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
And made it so much easier than I was ready for. Because there's no warning. It's not like, oh, I had time to get used to this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. No.
I think too, a lot of times it happens so quickly because they can't talk. So, it's like you or I, if we've been having a stomach ache for a month or something, we can go to the doctor, but they don't,
they can't, right. They don't tell you. And, and she was the best dog, just giant. She was huge, big dog, and so gentle and kind. And a goofball.
Yeah.
Her name was Kai. We should have named her Daphne.
Yeah.
Because she was more of a Daphne. Yeah, Dippy Daphne.
Yeah.
she was so dippy. We would just look at her like, you're a nut. You're a dingbat dog. But she was so sweet and so kind. And I'm so grateful for the extra couple of weeks that she gave me from the last time that I knew something wasn't right.
Right.
And I did. I laid down on the floor with her that night and said, look, if you're going to go, I'm not ready yet. This was like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I said, I need some more time. I don't know what's happening. And then the next day, for the next 3 weeks, she was like a puppy. For the last 3 weeks, she was like a puppy.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was like a super shocker.
Cry.
Yeah. And I'm not really good with that kind of stuff. So it was a disaster for a day.
I'm sure.
Yes.
So now you have no animals, correct?
No, I do. I have 4 cats.
The cats. I forgot about
Yeah, we have 4 cats. So it's funny. People are like, 4 cats.
I don't know how you do it. I have a dog who is an angel. An angel. She doesn't bark. She doesn't. She's just and then I have a cat, and she's the devil.
And she's
the devil. She keeps me up some nights.
Really?
And she's like 2.5, I think, almost 3.
Oh yeah.
I love her, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'll get a cat again.
We have 4 cats. They're all different ages. Well, no, the very first 2 that we got, which is Stella and Floki. And
those are great names.
Stella's named after the beer. Stella's named after the beer. Floki is named after Loki, the goddess or the god. What the heck is that? I think that's the wind. And then we got Queenie. So she's the witch kitty. She's a gigantic, fat, mean cat.
Really?
That we got from we got all of these from a shelter. And then we have Fizgig. So Fizgig. He's also Worcester. His name's Worcester.
Yep. He's the one that you've had in the pictures, right?
Yes. He's the kitten.
The kitten.
Okay. Yeah. And he's a nutcase. He thinks he's a dog.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a dog. And he would he'd get in fights with Kai all the time. Like, she's 800 times your size. What are you doing? Stop picking. Yes. I'm like, stop picking a fight with the dog.
Oh, with the dog.
With the dog.
I was thinking about the cat.
Yeah. No, the mean cat and him, the mean cat and the kitten are best buddies.
Really?
They love each other. Yeah.
Hey.
But wait, all 4 of our cats, they basically hang out we have 2 cat towers. They basically hang out there and do their own thing. They don't really bother us.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
That's good. Mine, if I want to pet her, she doesn't want me to. But then when I am not in the mood, she's all over me.
Oh.
She's just, she knows how to bug you.
Oh, I love to bug my cats. I love to make them mad. I do. Especially mean kitty, Queenie. And she's huge. And she doesn't like to be picked up. And she doesn't like to be patted. So I'll pat her and then go like this. And then pat her and then go like this. Because she'll try to attack you.
Yeah. Yeah, mine swats at me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, she'll hide on the chairs. If I have like something over it so I can't see her, and then she'll walk by and I'll walk by and she just swats me.
I'll go and pick up Queenie and hold her paws so she can't attack me, and I'll give her a kiss on the nose. And I'm like, and then I'll put her down really quick.
Yeah, they're scary. When I trim her nails, my heart beats really fast.
I'm not that brave.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like wrap her bottom in a blanket, and then she will pull back with her teeth, and I'm like, no.
Wow, that's brave.
But yeah, my heart and my hands are sweating, and it's just.
So now that we've been speaking about animals, and our guest that's going to be coming on when we come back from the break, we're going to have someone from Betsey from the Southwick Zoo coming on. Yes. Super excited to hear about. You and I are both big zoo people.
Huge.
Yes. And they do so many great things for animals that I feel like people really need to hear about it.
Absolutely, because I'm huge animal lover, huge. And in Europe, I think was the first time that I experienced the protesters.
Really?
Outside zoos. Yeah. And I thought it was strange, but I guess, we'll hear all about why they're not a bad thing for animals.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we'll be back. We're going to take a break and we'll come right back. You're listening to Connecting Worcester Style on Unity Radio, 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. We'll be right back.
Worcester, we've got you.
Okay. Oh, you're poor puppy.
I'm Q for Unity Radio Honors. Unity Radio Honors recognizes individuals and organizations for the community and cultural achievements in the city of Worcester. Unity Radio recognizes Charles E. Scott. Charles E. Scott, born 1869, was Worcester's longest-serving African-American city councilor, serving from 1918 to 1921. He was a self-made man who overcame boundaries of race, class, and prejudice. From 1926 to 1937, Charles E. Scott served again as the Worcester City Councilor, and during his tenure became known as the Dean of City Government. In 2015, a plaque was strategically placed inside Worcester City Hall in his honor of public service. It was designed to inspire young people or candidates of color to take part in civic government by running for office. Charles E. Scott died in 1938. I'm Q for Unity Radio Honors.
Are you looking to fully customize your dessert experience in 2021? At Sub-Zero Nitrogen Ice Cream in the Worcester Public Market, you select your own flavors and mix-ins to create endless combinations. The ice cream is flash frozen before your very eyes in a blast of chilled fog. This patented process uses liquid nitrogen to make the smoothest, creamiest ice cream on the planet. It's time to experience ice cream like never before. We also accommodate just about any allergy, including nuts, with our many base selections like vegan, lactose-free, yogurt, keto, and of course our premium and low-fat options. Sub-Zero Nitrogen Ice Cream is located at the Worcester Public Market. Learn more about takeout, deliveries, catering, and STEM presentations at subzeroicecream.com.
Unity Radio, Worcester's community connection.
Let's talk, Worcester.
Unity 97.9.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Connecting Worcester Style. I'm your host, Lisa Casillo on 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. I'm here with Ashley Johnson from Salon Exquisite. And we also have Betsey here from Southwick Zoo. Welcome, Betsey. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't hear her. Hold on a minute, Betsey. I can't hear you.
Give me 1 second, sorry.
We're working on it.
Okay, try now.
Okay. Try now, Betsey.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. Yes. Wonderful. Yes. So Southwick Zoo. Now, Ashley and I are huge lovers of zoos all over and have visited many, many zoos. Can you tell us a little bit about the background about Southwick Zoo? Because I know nothing about your background, so I'm excited to hear about it.
Oh my goodness. We have very interesting background, and we've been around for quite some time. The homestead here at Southwick dates back to 1803, and we were originally a dairy farm. My grandfather was a farmer and had vegetable gardens and Asher dairy cows. And he also had a very strong love of birds, particularly migratory waterfowl and other exotic types of chickens and swans. And he collected these birds, and he would take them to fairs and show them. And it became a true passion for him. So in the 1950s, he sold the dairy herd and he started concentrating on his bird collection. Well, he was trying to keep his hobby and his passion going, and he decided he needed to sell some of these birds. But he couldn't find a cash customer, so he started trading all these exotic birds with major zoos throughout the country, San Diego, the Bronx, the big ones.
Wow.
And so as he traded the animals, he had his small menagerie here, so to speak, and he put a donation box out in 1956, and people started coming and seeing the exotic things that he had. Of course, this was a time, you didn't have the internet, so people never saw exotic animals.
Right.
So it was a great place to come. It was really interesting. And he expanded on that and officially opened up in 1963 with my mom and my dad. And since that time, we've gone from a very small zoo to the largest zoo in New England on over 200 acres.
Really? I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, we have close to 1,000 animals.
Wow.
Yes, there's a lot going on here. And I think a lot of people, especially if they were here 30 or 40 years ago, can't imagine how extensively we've grown. We have about 500,000 people visit each year. Of course, last year was a little different.
Right, but you adapted though.
We did adapt. We did adapt. We had to adapt. We're a private zoo. We receive absolutely no government funding whatsoever. So we rely on our admissions proceeds to get us through the 6 months that we're closed. We're open seasonally. All of the animals do stay here. A lot of people, I don't know what they think, maybe that they take a trip to Florida or something. But no, all of the animals stay here. We have 22 heated buildings. So we have quite a bit of overhead, and we also have, all of our zoo staff working year round, and we're only open 6 months.
Okay. So most of the funding, if not all of it, you said comes just from people coming to visit.
Absolutely, from our admissions proceeds. Our admissions proceeds supports all of the maintenance, the exhibit design, the veterinary care, the housing, the feed, the heat, the enrichment, all of those things that cost an awful lot of money to maintain the zoo of this size. We're actually about 4 or 5 times larger than the average zoo in the United States.
Wow.
That is interesting to know.
Interesting, but I guess now that if you think about it, it really is quite large. I've been many times, and it is.
Well, thank you for visiting us.
Oh, no problem. I love zoos, and I love yours in particular. It's just a fun one to go to, and easy to get around.
I like it because it doesn't really feel like you're at a zoo.
Yeah.
It feels like you're more just like out in the nature. Yeah. It feels like you're walking in nature. I really liked that because I grew up in Illinois, and where we have the Brookfield Zoo.
That's a nice zoo.
It is
Very
a nice
nice.
zoo. But there was quite a bit more concrete. So when I go to other zoos that aren't is I guess in the city, and I see like your zoo that it's much more of a feeling of, I guess, connecting with the animals.
And it's interesting that you say that, and I thank you so much for saying that, because that's precisely what we're trying to do. We, being a private zoo and not getting funding, relying on our admissions proceeds, we need people to come here. And one of the ways in which we've geared ourselves as a zoological facility is to be able to get closer to the animals, to have some hands-on experiences, because we know if you can have an intimate connection with an animal, you're going to care more about the environment. You're going to care more about saving animals, and all of us working together for conservation and education. And I have a nonprofit organization here called Earth Limited, and Earth Limited does a lot of things with conservation and with education.
So tell us a little bit about Earth Limited.
Well, it's a 501c3 nonprofit, and we support ourselves through membership.
Okay.
And through the nonprofit, you can become a member. And with your membership includes unlimited visits to the zoo during the regular zoo season. And we also offer summer camp programs for children, which are, kids love it. I love watching a child start our summer camp program in kindergarten and see them there when they're teens and doing our teen zoology camp.
Mm-hmm.
So and I can name off kids that I've seen grown up at the zoo, and it really warms my heart to see them really engaged and really caring. I can remember one time we had a baby leopard that was orphaned, and we didn't have a space for it because it came from another zoo, and we needed to build its exhibit. And I had fifth graders in Medway stopping cars on the road to raise money. And I was like, I really appreciate your passion, but you have to be a little safer than that.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that you and I had talked about is that, as human beings, we have a tendency to take over, right? We take over nature, we take over space. And if we're not getting human beings involved and emotionally connected to these animals, they won't protect them.
You're so right. I mean, think about it. We're so removed from nature. I think one of the statistics right now is that we spend the amount of time indoors that we used to spend outdoors. As a child, I'm older, and as a child, we would get up and go outside. There was no reason to stay in the house.
Yeah.
All the action was
we
outside.
weren't allowed.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed even if it wasn't nice out. It was like, go play.
Yeah.
Go play.
It's rain.
Get outside.
It's rain. You're not going to melt. Go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of a turn that's taking place now, especially with private school facilities, like to have outdoor classrooms. I've been reading a little bit about that, which is very interesting to get kids outdoors. But I mean, we can do it just plainly, talking about our summer camps. I was walking with the children one day, the students, and I said, we need to take a walk in nature. And one of the kids said to me, there's an app for that. And there's an app to take a walk in nature. So, and coming to our zoo, like you said, we are very much out in the country. For Massachusetts, and we try to keep the concrete down. We still have some dirt paths, and we want you to feel like you're in nature. And that's one of the reasons that we have what's called our deer forest, where you can walk in and be among the deer. It's a 35-acre habitat where you actually walk in with the deer.
They come right up.
Really?
There's like food things, so you can give them food. They come right up to you. There's just deer all around you.
Wow.
We have to go.
Yes.
We haven't been in a while.
I haven't been in a while.
Come and visit.
Yeah. I said that we should do an interview there next time.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, for sure. The deer forest is actually probably one of our most popular spots. And we have a petting zoo, but we also have different types of animal encounters to engage people in education and conservation. And we actually, you see behind me on the screen, the rhino. I bring people down to meet our rhinos, Thelma and Louise. And that's done through the nonprofit too, Earth Limited, where we raise money for rhino conservation, because wildlife trafficking is really an awful, awful thing that's happening, especially to rhinos. Wildlife crime has superseded most types of crime because the penalties for doing such things are much less than for trafficking other things, drugs, children, guns. It's a very lucrative business, so it's coming up in the forefront and needs some attention. So when we do our rhino encounters, we teach people about different facets and why rhinos are being killed for their horns, which are merely hair.
Yeah, and it's disgusting what they do to these poor animals.
Yes.
So and there's so much for us to talk about, but we're going to take a break and we'll come back with Betsey Bethel from Southwick Zoo in a moment. You're listening to Connecting Worcester Style on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. We'll be right back, everyone.
Worcester, we've got you.
Unity Radio is streaming on UTY 979 FM. Let the people listen and support.
State Senator Michael Moore, SenatorMikeMoore.com, Holy Cross Basketball Alumni Friends, and the Sullivan Group, Insurance and Risk Management Services, sullivangroup.com.
Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hi, I'm Woodrow Adams Jr. with 508 Forever Young Inc. The key to success is having the right tools. Let's make sure our children are prepared to succeed. We are making an effort to provide children from all over Worcester and surrounding areas with the necessities to be ready to go back to school. Making a difference in our community is our primary goal and has since then grew into so much more. I'm Woodrow Adams Jr. For more information, go to 508foreveryoung.com.
Hi, I'm AC, host of Smooth Groove Soul of the City on Unity Radio. Enjoy the sounds of R&B, soul, hip-hop, contemporary and classic jazz on Smooth Groove Soul of the City with yours truly, EC, on Unity 979 FM and streaming at WTY979FM.org. Smooth Groove Soul of the City on Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Has the process of losing weight become overly complicated for you? I don't blame you. It's time to break through the information overload so you can start experiencing a lighter and happier life. At West Boylston Fit Body Bootcamp, our workouts do just that. We have a 30-minute workout system that burns twice the calories in half the time. So if you're looking to tone and sculpt your body, well, we're exactly what you're looking for. Learn more at wbfitbody.com.
Hi, this is Raymond Lopolito, the general manager of the Worcester Smiles Football Club, and you're listening to Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Connecting Worcester Style. I'm your host, Lisa Casil, and I have my guest host here, Ashley Johnson. And our guest today is Betsey Bethel from Southwick Zoo. So welcome back. Welcome back, Betsey. Nice to see you again. So can we talk a little bit more about that nonprofit?
Absolutely. That's one of the things I love to talk about. And it's called Earth Limited. And the Earth is actually an acronym for Environmental Awareness of Resources and Threatened Habitats. And we started out in Earth, it was about 20 years ago when I founded it. And I was just trying to think of ways to generate more education and conservation topics within the zoo community and within Southwick Zoo. And I thought, what a great way to do that through a nonprofit. So we're actually a nonprofit that works kind of like a foundation too, in some weird ways.
Okay.
We have our memberships, which we have a great partnership with Southwick Zoo. So through our memberships, we can offer our members unlimited visits to the zoo. Okay. And then I told you that we have the summer camp programs. We also do zoo tours, rhino encounters, sloth encounters. And we have juniors
sloth encounters.
Yes.
Oh, yes. My sister. She
people go crazy for sloths.
I know. I mean, and I love them because I love all creatures, but I don't quite get the obsession out of all the animals.
It's an obsession that is a little strange to me because I think they've been portrayed as like teddy bears.
Yeah.
And I mean real non-life teddy bears.
Right.
Like you can cuddle and hug and they're not going to bite you.
Right.
And that's not the case. So they are wild animals. Even though all of our animals are in human care, they're still wild animals. You I always tell people, I raised our lions, and people always say to me, do you go in with them?
Oh my gosh, no.
No, because they were born to be lions, and they have lion behavior, and that would mean that they would kill me.
Yeah.
So that's their home, their space. So, all of our animals, even though they're in human care and cared for, are still wild. They still have their obvious personality traits and adaptations and behaviors for them. So people get a little confused about the sloths.
Yeah.
Because we do the sloth encounters, but we have to be careful because we have to see how the sloths are behaving, and you can't hold them and touch them and stuff. But we do the encounters and teach people about their behavior, which everyone's always surprised. A sloth will scratch or bite. So yes,
they have huge.
I didn't know they could move fast enough though to scratch you. They just.
You'd be surprised. The rhino that you see behind me, which weighs about 4,500 pounds, can jump about a foot off the ground.
Really?
And this particular rhino, at one point, I read that they like the smell of men's cologne. So I took my husband's cologne and I sprayed it on their log that they have in their exhibit. And this one climbed up with her chin, and she was dangling off the log, all 4,500 pounds of her, smelling the scent from the cologne.
Wow.
And when people see things like that, they're just blown away because they can lay down and jump up like the turn of a dime. It's crazy. So there's a lot. I love talking about animal behavior and how animals are adapted and how they can move. And of course, a rhino needs to be able to run fast and get away from danger.
Mm-hmm.
They have extremely poor eyesight, but they use their sense of smell to figure everything out.
Yeah, they got big nostrils.
Huge nostrils and great ears. They can move their ears independently, and they're really cool animals. But so we have those encounters which support conservation initiatives.
Okay.
The giraffes support giraffe conservation, sloths, the Sloth Institute, and the rhinos is Project Rhino in South Africa, of which I'm fortunate to say I've been a part of in South Africa.
Wow.
They do a fabulous job trying to curb the poaching. However, the way that they found that works the best is by actually anesthetizing them and sawing off their horns.
Yeah.
And then the poachers will leave them alone.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So,
and they grow back, though.
And they do grow back because their horns, like I said, are hair.
Yeah.
So it grows back just like our hair would when our hair is cut.
Yeah. So that's smart that they figured out, okay, if there isn't a horn to cut off because we're keeping it trimmed like your hair, then they're less likely to hurt them.
Yeah. It's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And I've been to China where, the
market is.
The market is and the trade is. It's all over Asia, actually, very strong in Vietnam. And it's very hard to change cultural beliefs. So, it's a lot harder than we think. I actually was at a zoo in southern China talking to people about rhino horn, and some of the girls I was with are college students in the United States, and they're Chinese nationals, and they said, no, the younger population isn't going to believe that rhino horn is necessary for medicine. However, they did. They did think that. So it was a culture shock, not only for me, but for the Chinese national students who didn't think that was going to be, an issue.
Right. What were you going to say, Ashley? I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, what do they use their horn for normally? So like if you cut it off, are they in a little bit more danger in nature?
Oh, what do the rhinos use their horn for?
Yeah.
Oh,
they use their horns for protection. Mostly, though, it's moms protecting their calves. And what we found with the rhinos, with their horns being sawed off, and some of the rhinos, it's happened multiple times. And what I was very happy to witness was the fact that when the helicopters were circling them and they were darted and their horns were sawed off, that it didn't really affect them adversely when they woke up from the drugs, which are very powerful, and kind of trotted off. They seemed to be doing just fine. And there hasn't been any instances whatsoever of a rhino not being able to protect themselves. They can run really fast. They can run almost 40 miles an hour. That's a good trot.
Yeah.
So they're very well protected, and also the males use their horns to fight with each other over the females. So if nobody has horns, it's all fair game, right?
Right. Okay. We have somebody who has a question, but I'm not exactly. I asked him to ask the question again because I'm missing something. I think a word was wrong there. I think he's asking how COVID affected visitors for the animals, and did the animals miss the visitors?
I love that question. Because one thing that I discovered in the COVID environment, especially when we were completely shut down in April and May, when we should be gearing up and have all the school children coming in who are extremely loud, oh my goodness, is that especially the higher functioning animals, the smart animals like chimpanzees, they were just like up on their logs and their trees like, what's going on?
Where's my audience?
Yeah.
So, which made me, realize too that the visitors are enriching for the animals. That especially the chimps, I think they find humor in humans.
They're watching us. We're not watching them.
Right. And,
I could watch videos of them all day.
When we first opened for the season, they're all interested in the people, and then as the season goes on, they could care less, right?
Right.
But it was a very strange feel to the zoo, particularly in May when the weather was beautiful. We had such a beautiful May, and walking around the zoo, and because we are in the country, I would walk the paths of the zoo with nobody in there, all the animals out. And there was a lot of critters, hanging out that normally disappear off into the woods. There'd be snakes on the paths, and
oh wow,
frogs and other things. And it was very eerie. It was strange.
Yeah. We did find that in nature, that a lot of things in your backyard that you wouldn't normally see are out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. All those.
And it was an extremely difficult time for us, but we made it through. And when it costs you about $300,000 a month to maintain a facility, losing our revenue for 2 months was huge to us.
Yeah. I don't think people realize how expensive it is to take care of a zoo.
Right.
Right.
And, people would say to me, oh, did you furlough everybody? Is everybody gone? I was like, nobody's gone, because we have 40 people that we need to keep on the payroll year round, taking care of our facility. Like I said, Southwick Zoo is huge. We're really big. And to be on 200 acres is phenomenal as well. Our largest exhibit is 50 acres. We have an elk habitat where you can take a rubber tired train through. It's one of my favorite spots. And we have a herd of elk in there. And, that's a huge exhibit. 50 acres is a huge exhibit. The average zoo in the United States isn't even 50 acres.
So can people do a private tour of the zoo to see the back part?
Tours. Yeah, I do private tours through my nonprofit Earth Limited. Generally up to 6 people. We do it in the evening. It's a lot of fun. People can have cocktails too, which is fun.
Ooh,
and we ride around the zoo in a 6-passenger golf cart.
Yeah, see, that would be interesting to hear about all of that, because I think even when we go to a zoo, so my daughter, I told you, Betsy, my daughter, when she was I think she had graduated from high school, because you had to be 18 in order to be a volunteer. You had to go through this whole training program and stuff. And the stuff she knew about the zoo and the animals and how the zoo was run was amazing. But it was because she volunteered that I knew all of that stuff.
Right.
So
it would be so interesting to learn all of it.
Yeah. And then you really learn, oh my gosh, we need the zoo.
Yes.
These animals need us to care about them. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back. Everyone, you're listening to Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection, connecting Worcester Style, and we will be right back.
The Worcester Public Market is a multi-vendor, food-oriented marketplace in the European tradition. The Worcester Public Market is near the legendary Kelly Square, just a few seconds from Interstate 290. The Worcester Public Market is a community gathering place, providing the neighborhood and city around it with a vibrant shopping experience for goods and services. The Worcester Public Market is located in Worcester's Resurgent Canal District. For more information about the Worcester Public Market, worcesterpublicmarket.org.
I'm Q for Unity Radio Honors. Unity Radio Honors recognizes individuals and organizations for their community and cultural achievements in the city of Worcester. Unity Radio recognizes Elizabeth Betty Price. In 1973, Mrs. Price became the first African-American woman to serve on the Worcester School Committee. In 1983, Mrs. Price was appointed to the city's Charter Commission, establishing Worcester's present form of municipal government. During the early 60s, Mrs. Price co-founded Prospect House. She served as the executive director. The multi-service agency provided individual and family social services. The Elizabeth Betty Price Playground at the corner of Laurel Street and Eastern Ave is named in her memory. Elizabeth Betty Price died in 1992. I'm Q for Unity Radio Honors.
Unity Radio is streaming at WUTY979fm.org. We'd like to thank our listeners and supporters.
Remax Worcester, Realtor Dave Stead, home-stead.com. Essential Home Care, the care you need, the people you trust. essentialathome.com. And Leo's T-Bird Pizza, leostbirdpizza.com.
Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hey, this is Ricky Duran, and you're listening to Unity Radio on 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Lisa Casillo, and I'm here with my co-host, Ashley Johnson. And we have Betsey Bethel here from Southwick Zoo on as our guest today. So welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, Betsey. And we're talking about the nonprofit and all the different things, because I was just saying to Ashley when we were off the air is I didn't realize that there was a membership to the nonprofit. I only thought of the membership to the zoo. So those are two different things. Is that correct?
They're not two different things. The membership is through the nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
So if you become a member of the nonprofit, and then you get the unlimited visits to Southwick Zoo. So all of that money through membership from Southwick Zoo helps us to remain fiscally valid. So we need that money from the zoo. And all of that money goes towards conservation, education, and research programs. So when you're supporting Earth Limited, you are supporting education, conservation, and research.
Okay, so question, I know that my kids are grown. So I know you talk about the camps and stuff that you guys have. Is there stuff that for us that are young at heart but are not children?
Yes, I don't have
other camps for
us. That's a great question, because interestingly enough, most of our visitors are adults.
Really?
And yes, and I've seen a very large trend over the last few years of a lot of boomers too. We tend to get a lot of older adults now, people that are really interested in staying active as they get older. And it's amazing how many people come with their grandkids as well. And we also have, I guess we're a good spot for a first date. right?
Yeah.
Fun first date to go to the zoo, or a second date or whatever. But we do have more adults than children coming. And I think kids get so overextended with sports and everything too. So they have so many activities going on these days. But like I said, through the membership, I've watched kids grow up, and I love that. It's just wonderful to watch. It's wonderful to hear somebody tell me a story about, or information about octopuses, and I had no idea, because that's something they're interested in. So the kids are pretty fascinating. That's really one of the passions that I have, and that we all have here, is making a difference in children's lives and students' lives. And everything that we do here, we keep in mind, education, conservation,
right,
and keeping, a good family experience. That's what we're all about. Is, we want people to come, whether you're a family, you're single, or you're older, you don't have children, you don't have grandchildren. So we're hoping that we provide something for everyone to come visit us. And the one thing I do notice with the kids coming with the parents is you don't really get an opportunity to spend a lot of time at an individual exhibit, do you? You're kind of running through with the kids. So
I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot better when I don't bring anyone's kids with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to
you
bring
get to,
the kids.
like,
too,
I could sit
but-
down and watch the chimps for an hour. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And them watching you, they're
when
like,
you bring kids, it's exhausting too.
Exactly.
When you go by yourself, it's such a nice, relaxing. I've heard a lot of people go there for exercise, like you were saying. I know during the quarantine stuff, it was, a lot of my clients, because I was open back up before zoos. And a lot of my clients were saying that they missed going there to just walk around, because it's easy, nice and flat. But then if you want to go, there's like some hills. And like you had said, it's much more,
it's a big
in
place.
nature. Yeah.
It is very much in nature. And I wanted to ask you, Betsey, because you guys did during COVID, you did the drive-through where people could drive through the zoo, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
And we didn't know if that was such a great idea, and it turned out to be wonderful. And that's actually how we're starting this season off. The first 2 weekends in April, we will be having our drive-through. And it was really wonderful to hear the comments that people had to say about it, because obviously we weren't built as a drive-through, but a lot of our exhibits are open and really cool, and you get to drive through the deer forest, you get to drive through the elk habitat, and you get to see most all of the animals. And Lisa, I was telling you earlier that for those people that, have mobility issues, or children with behavioral problems, or whatever it may be, that whatever handicaps that happen.
Or there might be too,
people,
if you're autistic, sometimes
we
that's
have the
too much
Autism
activity.
Alliance here, and they were just so grateful, because it's hard for them to bring their children out into environments where there's a lot of sensory things going on, and a lot of noise, and a lot of people. And they were just so grateful. It was so wonderful to hear. And it was so wonderful to hear people say that they hadn't been to the zoo in 20 years because they have a difficult time walking, so that they could drive through, which is why we are extending it again this year. And I think we will probably always do it. We're going to open up for a drive-through, like I said, the first 2 weekends in April.
Okay.
And then we're going to be a drive-through Monday and Wednesday evenings. So we'll close the zoo early on Monday and Wednesdays, and people will be able to drive through on Monday and Wednesdays.
So the I don't know if you might not know this off the top of your head. Maybe you know, Ashley. What's the admission fee for the zoo?
The admission fee for the zoo it's $25 online.
Okay.
To purchase tickets. And of course, with COVID, we had to do time-stamped tickets. So I imagine we'll have to do that in the beginning right now.
Oh, I see. They have to pick a time that they're coming.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
So time stamped, but that's very easy to do. If you just go to our website, www.southwickzoo.com, you can get all of that information. The drive-throughs are $60 per car. And that's a great way. That's about 45 minutes to an hour drive-through. It's great fun for the family. And again, if you have people with mobility issues, great grandma can't get around too well, so that's a wonderful thing to bring somebody through the zoo that can't necessarily walk through or doesn't want to go in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And any type of severe autism too, is people have been very grateful for that, to have a good outing with their children where they can stay calm and
yeah, you can bring a cooler in your car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring whatever you want. And we also have a beautiful restaurant here. We have a gorgeous restaurant called Galliford's with great comfort food with a twist. And you can come in and have something to eat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Takeout. We offer takeout. And the food is fabulous. It's really, really great.
I forgot that's in a newer restaurant, correct?
It is. It's about 4 years old, and it's an absolutely gorgeous building.
Mm.
We really put our hearts and soul into making it, a really nice environment with a big, huge, beautiful fireplace.
Wow.
And big windows off the back so you can look out at the zoo. And we have outdoor seating as well. And it's great. It's great. And once the zoo gets open, we also have a deli downstairs, a patio. We have events going on. We have weddings.
Really?
We have a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah. So, and people, it's like right here in our backyard.
Yeah.
People get married in our dear forest.
That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's a great
Somebody's
idea.
getting married there tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. It's wonderful. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So, where can people find more information about the Earth Limited?
You can go to earthltd.org. earthltd.org.
Okay.
And if anybody's interested in Galliford's takeout or coming in to dine in, those changes are happening in Massachusetts now due to COVID. So we're more capacity, and hopefully we'll continue to go in the right direction. And
Right.
You can go to gallifords.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Betsey, for joining us. And we're so excited that the zoo is going to be opening soon, and Ashley and I will be coming to visit.
We'll be coming to
Awesome.
visit.
Thank you so much. It was great talking with you ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
week. And thank you, everyone, for joining Ashley and I today. And we can't wait for next week. I'm so excited that spring is on its way here. I'm so happy. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you again next week. And always remember to have courage and be kind.
Thank you.